Aye, to a woman. Bayale. Dr. Bao. Yajibe. Tabagnolo. Le colonel Zouénian Timoléon. Allô?
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. We want to thank you again for tuning in to LIBERIA Public Radio this evening. We say thank you. Please share this video. Safety, Lord Jesus. We want to thank you again for this wonderful Friday afternoon. Lord, as we come here, only through you, that we depend on you, the only person we're depending on, to guide us through. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for your protection. We thank you for the life you give us and continue to give us. My Lord, only through you that everything is possible. Your time is the best time. We will wait for your time. Because whenever you say this is what it is, that's what it is. I want to thank you for that mercy. I want to thank you for that power. Can you imagine somebody else have that kind of power over me? My Lord, I want to thank you. And those of you that don't know you, Lord, I pray that they will come around to know who you are. Not only are you a savior, but you are also the protector and the giver of life. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leader of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. Bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, folks. Let's go ahead. I've been doing some serious reading lately. And hopefully the panelists will be joining us here very shortly. But from all indication, I hope these papers, the things that we've been reading here and there, that perhaps they're not the way they're supposed to be. I will continue to hope, because that's about all we can do. We will continue. Look what's happening in Liberia. Look what's happening with each other. These young people. And nobody in the whole area to say I'm bigger than that. Kids are in the street fighting each other. And then the president's out of the country. The president's out of the country. Just take as Mr. So was saying this afternoon, just take, for example, what happened in Sierra Leone. When issues started coming in Sierra Leone, that heavy demonstration that happened. The president was out of town, I believe. But he immediately decided, I'm going to go back and face my people. And he came back. But the president of the Republic of Liberia is gone. Doesn't he know that because of his popularity, that the peace in Liberia is there? And he's not there right now. Things are going haywire on us. But God will continue to protect us. God will continue to bless that country. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And then you're seeing these kinds of things happening. These kinds of ridiculous things happening in Liberia. And yet still the opposition is taking their own position instead of coming together. I've just read recently where there's a newspaper, there's another guy, Prince Moore, I believe, or somebody else, that Dr. Bakai or Ambassador Bakai is eyeing for vice presidency position, and that it's no longer Yumli Kang. These people think they're going to win the presidency if they don't come together. All of them. The only way they're going to win in Liberia, the ANC, the Unity Party, the Councillor Gongro Party, the only way they're going to win, each of them going to win in Liberia, if they come together. They don't come together, CDC and Dr. We are going to win. No matter how bad things are in Liberia. No matter how bad things are. Because President Weah was not elected based on his lead. I've been saying this over and over. He wasn't elected based on his leadership ability. Far from it. Far from it. He was elected strictly based on popularity. And his popularity is not waning as much. Especially if these young people don't see anybody to gravitate towards. What makes you think they're going to leave? What makes you think they're going to leave and come to one person? Ambassador Bakai is not going to win the election by himself. There's no way. The only reason, let me just say this again, that might sound ridiculous, but since 2005 up to 2017, when Ambassador Weah won, the only reason why he was not winning because they were cheating him. If it was a fair game, Madam Sally was not even going to have a second term. But every time he gets in the race, he was cheated. We all know that. And what makes them think now? Not only do CDC have power, this is what is very challenging for me. I'm not going to say disappointing, because no man can disappoint the liberal. The liberal can never be disappointed by another human being. No way. I have my own disappointment. If I'm disappointed in myself, that's fine. But life can be challenging based on other people's action or reaction to whatever that I'm doing or whatever that I say, that I can accept. But let me just say this. Ambassador Dr. Weah and his people, in as much as they have so much issue right now, so many issues, so many, that if it was any other country, he shouldn't even think about second term. But this is in Liberia. CDC have the money. Need recognition, forget it. They already have that. And they have the money. Many people in Liberia, those who are going to participate in the election, are poor. You think we'll be saying this, let the people get out of the rice and chicken soup business? You think they'll just leave that immediately? People will just forget about a cup of rice and chicken soup right away and oil? It's part of the voting system. They're still going to be trucking. Those things not going to be eliminated right now. Those are future items, future discussion. Long-term goal for us as Liberians. Okay? These opposition, if they don't come together and they think each of them have the ability to outrightly win the election, I will be right here. The first show I'm going to have after they are defeated, I will not equal anyone. I will laugh for 10 minutes straight, just laughing. Nothing I will say. 10 minutes straight. I'll be laughing at them. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I really don't know what these people, who these people are. I said, what are they looking at? The same thing that we're looking at in terms of Liberian politics? Or they think that there's just a supernatural people that know everything? Of course, they're smart. If I was smart like that, I probably would have been in the same position. But I'm not. So that's why I'm sitting here in Sacramento. And they're all running campaign. Maybe they're smart. But for goodness sake, on this Friday afternoon, do you really believe that Honorable Cummings would defeat Dr. Weah all by himself? First round, second round? No. Do you think Ambassador Bakai, whoever he's going to select for the second position, is not going to win? Neither is Councillor Gonglo. They're not going to win. One-on-one with Dr. Weah, they're not going to win. We all know that. But then when you push them, this is their response. Many of their surrogates will say, well, you don't go into 18-year running campaign to be vice president. It's not that. But you need to get yourself in a position where if these things happen, your supporter will be expecting. You should be able to have these kinds of conversations now. Now. And let me bring in Mr. George. Okay, he's still trying to straighten himself up. Once I see that he's straightened up, I'll bring him up. Okay? But you don't want to listen. They think, okay, I think he's ready. Let me bring him up. Mr. George, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I do.
No, not yet. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
You're muted.
Can you hear me?
No sound from you still. Oh.
I can hear you.
No, it's my fault. No, it's not. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, what's going on? I still can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's about now?
I can. I do.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. But let me say this here, Mr. Josh, and I'll bring you in very quickly. The point here is what I'm saying here, folks. Those of you that are listening, what I'm saying here tonight is this. These people, they are capable of winning an election. I'm not questioning that. But who are they facing? They're facing the people who have the money. They're facing a system that one minute will be corrupt, another minute, oh, we'll do the best we can, another minute, oh, we'll be corrupt, another minute, they don't know where they are. They're facing that. They're also facing Liberians that are tired of confusion, that are tired of corruption. But they don't see any of these people, from my perspective, single-handedly to take on Dr. Weah and win. Let me bring in another. Okay, let me ask this on here. So I don't see any of those. So my thing is, if there's no conversation to start now, behind the closed door, whatever you want to call it, to prepare your supporters, that eventually we will come together. But you have from what I'm reading, Dr. Baka is now shopping around for vice presidential candidate at this stage. That means he's so confident that he's going to win. Well, all I can say to my old man, we're here. We're your son. We're your brothers. If you're ready to go to Lufa County, call on me. Even if that 50 cents I get, I will send it to you, man. I know you got money. You're not broke. But I'll put something in there so you can buy Kisao Lee, Basajama, so you can get in Lufa County a little bit. But if you don't, you're supposed to be the father of everybody. Oh, yeah, Ambassador Waka. But let me bring in. Sister, good evening. Thank you for joining us here. I'm just going. I read something here yesterday about pretty much the article is about where Ambassador Baka is now shopping, pretty much, and going from one position to another. And I'm just saying, it's not the time. So, but let me ask you, Mr. Josh, what's on your plate this evening? We'll just go on to whatever subject matter you guys care to discuss here.
I mean, sister, how you doing? And Mr. To, and happy Veteran Day to all the veterans of this country for putting their life down and for the freedom that we enjoy. So I say happy Veteran Day.
Since you did that, let me do this here, please, if you don't mind. Let me do this here quickly, if you don't mind. Please just bear with me. What happened? Oh, hold on.
PFC Tow. This is from Sacramento, California. And is reporting to MCS Miramar, California.
Okay. Go ahead. That's my son.
Oh, wow.
Just finishing his other now he's been deployed now. He just finished his other graduate with the other program they have. So now he's gonna be deployed now. So, but go ahead. He's a veteran, by the way.
Okay, yeah, that's why I said congratulations.
He at home right now. The American people, they owe me. He home right now eating my kisali and pambata. I'm going to send my bill on this Veteran Day. Yeah, the man eating my kisali and pambata. I gotta send my bill. It's not free.
But
he's Mr. Josh.
Huh? He's being paid.
Yeah, but he's eating my kisali and pambata. Mine.
You should ask him not to. You should bill him. Then he will bill Uncle Sam because you know what. You should bill him. Yeah,
that's what I will do.
Okay.
Kobo in my brother, 50 cents. He had that $500 boat.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. George. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, one of the things on my mind training today is this latest sensor that got my attention. And another story I saw that was reported by one of the journalists, Julia Ja, where a Lebanese man beat a Liberian security.
Right.
And those are some of the things I'm training, for me.
Okay. So what's on your plate?
How you doing, everybody? And happy Veterans Day to everyone. I see Mr. George has been biased here. He said happy Veterans Day to all the veterans in this country that fight for their freedom. But he didn't get happy Veterans Day to Yurimo J, Yurimo K, LPC, Model, and all the people who fought for their freedom in the bushes. So I don't know how you're being biased here today, but having said that.
What you say? Wow, we've been biased? Where you come from?
I'm not going to touch that. Let it go ahead. Let that one go. Let's leave it alone, Mr. George. Go ahead, say.
Mr. George didn't hear me. I said, why you tell Yurimo J, Yurimo K, MPF, IMPF people happy Veterans Day? But
yeah, when they were attacking me, Papa, take your shoe.
But anyways, the Legis issue is very important. I can see that the first branch of government passed a joint resolution aimed at trying to patch some holes on the Legis issue. But one thing I want to push back on the LIBERIA about his opener was when he talked about George Weah winning elections and people taking it from him. We have to be careful with the Donald Trump kind of speeches that we make about the integrity of our elections in Liberia. If you're telling me that George Weah and the CDC sat there and somebody took elections from them when they had facts, I'm not saying they just assuming where they just go, oh, we saw it, they were supposed to win. That they got have facts and they sat and they allowed there, then by all means they should not even be in power because that means they are incompetent. So I just want us to be very careful with that when we talk about the integrity of elections in Liberia. We're still seeing the marks of that in America, where the Orange King, the KKK King, Donald Trump still runs around with the Ku Klux Klan claiming that he won an election, and people are and that is still affecting the integrity of elections in this country. So I just want to put it out there. But having said that, I think the Legis issue is very important. We've been talking about this on this platform for months now. We've been talking about how those two, that was tied in with election integrity. How are you going to draw electoral boundaries? How are you going to draw legislative boundaries? How do you even determine how many people are in the country eligible to vote? Forget about the fact that even you need that to tailor government policies on where clinics are needed, where hospitals are needed, where more schools are needed, and what do we need to focus on? How many old people are in the country? Do we need to put more money into elderly care? How many young people, how many children are being born? How many maternity centers we need to build? And how many preschools we need to build? We've been saying that, but people have been taking it for granted. Now it's coming to pass. We've been calling on all serious political parties on this platform to take proactive actions. They haven't. Now today, look at what's happening in Monrovia. There were fighting going on in places. To tailor government policy.
Sorry.
That was very disappointing today to have seen our people fighting because, and I'll put this blame squarely at the feet of the politicians. Those people running to lead the people, and that includes everybody who's wanting to be president and people who are thinking about wanting to be legislators. That they sat down and allowed this thing to degenerate to this point today, where somebody is declaring a national holiday for people to stay home, just to be counted. And when you know you got nobody to go count the people, and people made mockery of that today. So you tell me how serious people are going to be when the president fixed this thing and said, now go back again and go count, when the first one was a fluff. So I'm really disappointed in both the government and in the opposition political parties for not having been proactive in trying to resolve this issue.
Okay. Mr. Josh, can you expand on your concern today you have when you talk about? Mr. Josh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I said, can you expand on the issue you were talking about that you have on your plate?
The last time, this week, the Minister of Finance was on another station. And he said today, let's say yesterday now, in Liberia, Friday, the 11th, was going to be the official beginning of the census. And the House of the legislature issued a proclamation, President signed, that everybody Friday should stay home. That will be the beginning of the census. And the idea was that once everybody stay home, at least that day, 50% of the people would have been counted. At least that's what they were saying. At least they will get 50% as a kickoff. Okay. The minister said 390 numerators or whatever, only 90 were not paid. So only the 90, and he said it was because of technical glitches with the bank people there, and so they would not send those people money. But he told the Liberian people that Friday will be the official kickoff. My friend. This morning, we get up to go look. Religious headquarters, front of people demanding the pay. The sitting fee, $50, first. People are saying they got to go to SY distance, they don't have money to pay their way. And secondly, the government rented tablets from Ghana.
Tablets?
Yes.
Tablet. Tablet? Please say again. Can you hear me? So, Mr. Joyce, I think you're stuck. What did he say? Tablet? I see a computer tablet.
I think that's what I heard.
You mean computer tablet?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah. Now, the minister said the fund is completely controlled by the UN agency responsible for census. And if they are okay, all this process, why the fund was not released to the people who are supposed to go on the field, numerator, supervisor, why they didn't get the sitting money when you're calling the minister, the fund is there. That's number one. That one, I say the minister is a liar. Second, the guy who was the director, the minister himself attested that this man wrote $160,000 to himself. Then the minister alleged justifying that the man did render some services. But how the heck you will be a director of an agency and doing business with the agency? I mean, you see the kind of corruption that is taking place in Liberia. Then he went further to say he can't suspend the man because he had not seen the report. And the auditing bureau had issued a report that alleging that these people have stolen, accusing them. But the minister said he cannot suspend those people. He's waiting for another report. He's looking for the report. He had not seen that report. That's why we all saw the report being published. But he said no. So the question here is, What do these people want the Liberian people to do? With the census now, the first year was fiasco. Knowing our people, and I will do it myself. People lost revenue. Some people who are going maybe to do something for themselves, they didn't go. They all sat down home today. Now to go back to the people to say we're coming to calm you people. So one man, the last people may will say, well, I ain't wasting my time, I'm gone. And knowing the implication of this census, it's not about just election, as this was saying. This thing will bring money to Liberia also. Because when the population is presented, you look at children, young folks, the elderly, all these people, to be taken account, and based on that, you and other institutions get money to put in certain area to say, hey, this population, we need to focus on the population. Let's put more money in this area. But somewhere toward then, the government of Liberia is not thinking on any other thing. Just
Mr. George, your system is not doing you. Sister, can you hear me? Okay.
This numeration strategy for 4 years. They have not done it. 4 years. So are you telling me 4 years sitting there in that bureau, there was no preparation made? Now at this time, okay, we missed it the first year. The second year, the third year, let's put all the mechanisms. So the fourth year, we will do it strictly so we'll not have all the glitches. No. So let me just end on the system now to tell you that when we say the government of Liberia, honor President we are.
Okay. All right. I think, Sister, let me come to you. I know you'll be coming in, but let me come to you. And I'm not trying to shift blame.
It will have a profound effect on generation yet unborn if this man continue to carry the community direction.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. But I think your system is acting up tonight, Mr. George.
Well, so I gotta see. Nobody calling me. They just go off and come. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. But
anyway, it's the ANC network you own. Get off the ANC network and you'll be okay.
Okay. At least the CTC network.
But let me go to Sissy. I like these kinds of conversation where we're trying to have a serious conversation, of course, but sometimes we try to find things also. And I'm not trying to shift blame, as I was saying before, but I want to pick your mind on this here. Do you think the past government, does these people, do they have any kinds of responsibility whatsoever of some of the shortfall that is happening in this government?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Especially when it comes to the census. I saw Togagliwe McIntosh giving a press statement the other day. When Togagliwe McIntosh was the head of the last census that happened in 2007, 2008. He couldn't say what was left behind, what documents, what roadmaps were left behind for successive government. Another thing also, we want to be very careful about how we politicize this process. Because I'm looking at a report right here that was issued by the Gliwe Commission. And when you look at what they talk about, the last time that the census happened, the mapping component of the census in 2007 January, that was completed in March of 2008, was wholly majority, over 90% funded by the UNFPA, which is the United Nations branch on that piece, and then USAID, and then so their money was not Liberian government money. So when we are talking about the money for implementation of mapping now in the We Are government, we want to be careful to say, let's not compare apples and oranges. Is this money this year for this census coming directly from the government, whereas the money for the first census came from donors fund? if that is the case, then we have to cut George Weah government a little bit of a slack, even though they're still responsible for not being far-sighted. But we have to give them a little bit of a slack because now this money is coming from national coffers and national budget. Now, if the money is still coming from those sources, the UNFPA and USAID, then we have to start asking the Liberian government, would their hands be cut in another cookie jar that belongs to our foreign partners? And are they stealing money again that was donated by foreign partners? Because that would be another more shameful thing. So to the extent that I find that it took a Gliwe McIntosh that headed this census and is now here having a press conference without telling us, the Liberian people, because I listened to the entire press conference, telling us, the Liberian people, what were the roadmap they left behind. Because when you come into an office and take over an office, sometimes there is something left over, right? There should be stuff left over for you on the way forward, right? There should have been data left over that will make this work a lot easier. I think I saw in their stuff, the last time they hired about 7,023 enumerators. Okay, those were the number of enumerators they had available to them in 2008. So they pass on that data to the current government and say, well, based on that, you might need either more or you might need less. Do those people have access to those documents? Again, this is just a question I'm asking because at the end of the day, we want to make sure when we are apportioning blame, we are actually being fair and being less political about who we lay blames at their feet. You're muted, Libera. Were you saying something?
Libera, you muted.
I think you and Pat George are on the same
my finger doing some number again here tonight.
That is man, it's not me. He's not control.
You know, saying the man able to sit on total man, any total man thing. Man.
Pat George, now I know ya. He don't want to be muting you. Now I see it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Doug. We appreciate it. Let me go to Mr. George. Mr. George.
Yeah.
And I know if I were to ask you to remove your political hat, I'm not too sure if we're able to achieve that, but I will ask you anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So say something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can blend all of them in and whisk it out there when I ask my question. Or you want to respond to? Okay.
No, go ahead.
So the question I was going to ask you is this: since the corrected stated here, give us some information that the past census was done with other people's money. Now we're doing a census with our own money that most likely we don't even have, and if we have, something else is happening. Truthfully, the economic situation in Liberia perhaps is not at a good standing right now. But with all that understanding, that perhaps you're willing to give some leeway, some latitude to this government in terms of finances and what have you. But if you see the president and his entourage leaving the state and going for almost 2-3 weeks to stay in hotel, that they're not going to ground crew where he has relatives. They're going places to stay in hotels and be fed by buying food. And you have people who perhaps would have been able to understand to say, okay, well, maybe we don't have the money. And maybe because we don't have the money, that's why the government is not quite ready to pay us, who might be sympathetic to the government apply in terms of financing. If they see this type of thing happening with this government and the people do, and Dr. Weah is not, do you think that might be one of the reasons that the trust level and the fact that people continue to insist that these people are truly corrupt, you think that might have some sort of a play in it in terms of perception?
They do. And here's the thing. I think this is the second press conference that Mark Giveaway had. The first press conference I listened at the time. And he said, he was the one that organized that bureau, set it on everything, and they conducted the census at the time. And he said some things. But on the point that what is something on that beyond, he was not asked that question or for anything to say someone asked and to answer. So that is hanging. But Minister Twe, said that you say that the U.S. government gave the portion of the money that for the center should have been done. They gave the part. He said the UNDP also gave the part. So I think it was 12 or 17 million that these people had in the fund sitting down. So the issue now is not about money, the availability of money is not it. Because the minister admitted that the fund is within the UNDP account that nobody can touch it. Only they can touch that money. So the issue of fund, as far as I'm concerned, it has been settled. The minister of finance this week was on radio. He said it. So the issue of funding is not the issue now. The issue we should be talking about is the capability of the institution and personnel, whether they have the capacity to do their work. And the minister went further to say he brought one doctor, I think from the University of Liberia, a statistic, or someone who got a PhD in statistics, to help to supervise this work. Those are the minister's words. So if those funds are available, why the numerator cannot get the setting fees? Not the SRL, but just the setting fee. Why they have not gotten it? What was the preparation made? I agree. If someone want to shift the blame on the past government, fine. But 4 years, they've been sitting like in that bureau. So what work they have been doing the 4 years? What they didn't tell the Liberian people that, look, this is where we came, and this is where we're coming from. This is what we met, and we're trying to work on this to get to this point to conduct these things. Nothing has been done. All you hear from that place is stealing. Legit. All you hear from there is stealing. So if to say the past government didn't do anything, okay, I can give that to them. I give it to them. The past government, I don't know where they left it, but they have been in the ministry. I mean, in the bureau for 4 years. So says it. You took our school. You are an educator. You didn't see anything that your predecessor left. You said, okay, I will start from here. But I will tell my people that, hey, Akinde place was empty. So we're starting from scratch. So you're giving 1 year, 2 years, we'll be able to put everything in place. That is a duty to tell the people. Nothing. All they tell that, hey, the center delayed no money. Now, finally, we got money. It cannot kick off. Then what is the problem? The issue of president, we are leaving the country for, it's not 3 weeks. You're talking about 4 to 5 weeks. Now, we're getting some report. Okay, 6 or 8 weeks. Yeah. Now we're getting some report that the delegate, the international president delegate is 51%. 51%. That is what the president took with him. That excluding the security detail. But those are persons that they say he took with him. Now, 8 weeks. The people who are giving you money, what is it that you telling the people that you're serious? That you should continue to give our taxpayer money to you? Is that a good example of a leadership? That you don't have money, got to beg people, and you live in the country for 8 weeks? What you think you're showing these people? This 21st century, how many person would lead a country for 8 weeks? He's not sick. To leave a country 8 weeks, this modern day, something got to be wrong with somebody somewhere. So the issue now is how do we get out of this? The dilemma, how can we get out of it? Tomorrow there will be no censor. Sunday there will be no censor. Monday will not show whether the people will have the money. So then what happened? So it's both combined. Other people don't care for the country. Second, corruption. They want their friends just to milk the country as a cow. So that's my take on that. Then I you frozen. I don't have the
Sorry. My finger playing game here. But as I was saying, as far as being a cow, I think it's an elephant. Liberia is an elephant, and it's a real good, loving elephant. Other people come in, they show one side, they take when that meat finish, it turn the other side, the other people come and eat, then they start grow by, they keep turning it. But you know, I don't think it's going to finish. I pray not. I pray not. But to Doc, let me come to you. Doc. The finance minister on our sister network said they have everything in place. In fact, he made a statement that this government is getting there. They're going there strong. They're doing well. And we're still people, the money he said that they were supposed to take care of business, it doesn't seem to be panning out. Do you trust these people to actually carry out the census process at all?
Look, Libra, we continue to say for day one that this government is incompetent to carry any serious work with our country. And we continue to tell the people, but they don't want to listen to what we say. Saboteur is go to sugarcoat. You know, they will cover all the conspiracy. I think the guy should be the whole about conspiracy theory in our country. They will, at the end of the day, they will say they want a conspiracy again, but they are the whole about conspiracy theory in our country. You know, our other local radio show this morning in my hometown, in Toyota. You know, and I was speaking to the people. There's people asking questions, and then another gentleman asked the question about the sea sensor. You know, they posted a message here. They said, should I go our farm? They come in to do sensor. And how we expect to go sensor, we get food to eat while the women are when they got here till there. You know, so you see the problem right there. There's no awareness. They don't have qualified people to go out to conduct the sensor. They are not provide education. I can recall. You see, in the 80s or so, when we were kids with sensor were conducted, we have all those various TV shows until they look at doing population growth until they to educate people and where they but we have not seen nothing. The funds were provided for this sensor. Look guys, at the end of the day, they share that money and said they put it in a pocket. We may not have the evidence to prove towards it, but the economy can tell us how the guys are functioning. You get a president that left the country with 52 men or 55 men delegates for over 1 month to go sit in another poor country. If he come back, he come in here empty. He's not going to bring any resources back or any kind of financial capital back to the country. No, so those guys cannot be trusted. And the only way to get rid of them, the next ballot box, our people have to. Our people have to play down the road. Like I told somebody on the radio station this morning. Everything you guys here, you have to make that decision to the ballot box. That's there. If you can sit again and see everything that's going on, and you let this government get power, then we don't know what to say. You know, it's up to them right now. The power lies in their hand for the next presidency. That's what we can tell them. But with that relent, we'll continue to preach the message. Our man Tewa Goglo is doing extremely well. I saw a video of him all the way in Puto, in Lima County, and gave him an inspiring message, you know, to people in our area. Look how he was sailing across the water from Liberia to Africa. Right there, you see electricity coming on the other side of Burensa, while the Liberians are in darkness. You know, so I gotta admire him, the stand that he taking to reach all the various local villages to reach. He the only one not doing it. Ambassador Braga not doing it. Comey not doing it. Comey sitting in Monrovia or wherever, or recruiting former warlords and other people to make a team to be effective. We'll see how it will play out. But our man is a grassroots fighter, and we're going to take the challenge to the people in the villages, and we hope that he will make a good move 2023.
Mr. Tudor, let me just hold you there. Let me push back.
Mr. George, we will come to you. Mr. George, we will come to you. Mr. George, we will come to you. We will come to you. Just hold yourself. I'll come to you. Let me go to Sissy. I knew something. I knew something was.
So what are you laughing for?
Right. I knew something was going to fall out. Okay. So let me come to you. With all of these things that are happening right now, especially with this census situation and the minister coming up making these kinds of statements. Let me go back again. In terms of the entire political structure that were somehow met or that was there when this government came in, you think this government was not able to utilize that process effectively because they came in a warrior mode and some of them have not gotten out of it? You think that is affecting their ability to understand the governing process and the fact that perhaps there was some structure that was put in place by the former government and yet still they're not able to use it? Or you think there's nothing there, or this government came in and started fresh and now they're trying to find their way in the darkness or whatever you want to term it? You think is that what the case is?
No, but first of all, the Dolake, please make it count. The doctors are ready for you, so you make it count. I see you watching here, you keep posting. But having said that, though, on a serious note, I cannot believe, I would not believe, I refuse to believe that in an alien government of 12 years who have left power with absolutely nothing left behind for takeover, to a government that she endorsed, by the way. And let's also remember that the former chief of staff, the now domesticated porcupine that live in a zoo, the captured porcupine, McGill, worked in alien government. And so they have understood how government works.
And so we're not where.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of people who are in this government that worked in the alien government. And look, you asked for whether there are some blames that other people can take, and that's why I talked about Dr. Chloe McIntosh. I'm not trying to say here that he's responsible. I'm just trying to give, however much help I can give to the CDC to say benefit of the doubt. But if I were able to just go, I just want to Google, and I type in LIBERIA census questions 2008, and the entire report of the census on PDF came out. The entire report. So let's even say there was nothing left at the ministry when Dr. Chloe McIntosh left. He carried everything. We're talking about people like Twitter who boast of being strong academicians and researchers. I just did a Google search. I didn't even have to go to anything difficult, right? And the data is right there. The data is what I'm quoting from. I said it has 7,023 enumerated. Yeah. So you should have known from 2018, when you didn't have a census, that we will need at minimum 7,023 enumerators. Did you then check to see, okay, do we know who these people are? Are they still alive? Can we, instead of recreating the wheel, use these people because it'll be cheaper to train these people, right? We just got to brush them off, right? Did you do that? Did you look at, what were the difficulties? Because when you read their report, it reads like a PhD dissertation. Dr. Chloe McIntosh did a very good job. He made his thing. They lay out that, for example, they talk about what the United Nations Human Development Office projected what LIBERIA population was. Because the United Nations will project what your population is, just so you know. If you don't do census, they will project. And their projection was wrong based on our census. And so they lay out and say, here's what the United Nations thought we have. Here is what we had. Here is what we actually came up with. Because the UN is going to fund you to the extent they can based on their projection if you don't have hard data. So they lay all of these things out in this census report that is available for anybody on Google. Are you really telling me that Minister Twe and all of these vanguard, revolutionary academicians from the University of the Sycamore were not able to just Google this thing and look at it? This is sad. I think this is a disservice to the president. I think the people he's surrounding himself with, that he believes and he trusted, have served him wrong. From the Porcupine Brigade commander all the way down to the most educated and smartest man on the planet in CDC government, Minister McGill. Because this is available. So say Tokaglewe left, he was mad. Let's just assume that. He carried everything. But this is online. You would have at least had a place to start from. And they refuse to do any of that. And it's not like, you're doing census right now in 2008.
Yeah, but you're pretty much on your own, because I am...
We hearing you.
In dark, but go ahead and finish. When you finish, Mr. George, you can just step in right away, please.
Okay, so to say that you didn't have the census in 2018, you didn't have it 2019, you didn't have it 2020, you didn't have it 2021. So you had buffer that you could have taken the time, even if you were reading just one page a day of this census report, you would have had a game plan. And Dr. McIntosh is not yet dead. I really refuse to believe that if you call on Dr. William McIntosh to come back and try to debrief him, that he would say no. I don't think he would do that. The former director of Legis, did you call those people? No, they didn't do that. You know, so it was just academic laziness on their part.
Yeah, and especially to add on to something. Just to add on, they will organize that when they blended, they combined the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs and Finance. So that came under directly the supervision of the Minister of Finance. And then remember, back, Samuel was consultant in that ministry during Ellington to Amara Kwame. So the guy last 10 years, he was a consultant in that ministry to Amara Kwame. So, and the Planning and Economic Affairs was already under that ministry. So if he may not be in that area, but he could familiarize himself, bringing people from that area to say, hey, tell us what's happening. And now he's a chairman of the board of legislature. So what is there that 4 years, all the people in Nimi, they stay around. But one of the things they did was during the transitional period, they went to office and people, they didn't even last one, they didn't even like no transition, they just went and said, hey, you get out of the office to their goal. They did it there in Morovia. Now, Samuel 12, $1 million, he said, was given. 700,000 in United States dollar, 300,000 in Liberian dollar. The 700,000 went to the UNDP account.
And Mr. George, Dr. Toto, as soon as Mr. George finishes, you can jump in, please.
All right.
The 300,000.
Because I'm having some serious.
Ledger, it went to Ledger's account. And Samuel told us, the director took, I think, 160,000 for that money without his approval. But then they see something tracking that I cannot suspend the man because there is no investigation to accuse the man. I accuse the man of taking this money. But you said already that the money was unauthorized by you. So then immediately that man should be suspended to give you reason, of course, why he used that fund when it was not authorized by you. But he got the same man there. Look at that kind of attitude. You the chairman. You admitted, yes, this man took 300,000. It should have been the money to go, but it was local dollar. He took it and used X amount of dollar from A. And you have, what did you do? Oh, I can't suspend the man because I don't have a proof. What proof again you want? When you are saying it, you did not authorize it, man. You the board chairman. And if you did use that one, what does the judiciary do? Is to ask him to step aside. Then you,
okay.
Hey,
go ahead, Dad.
We are conducting an investigation. Other than that, you still will be suspended. Maybe you can get paid until we conclude it. But no, the man is there. But let me just come to Dr. Tutu. Talking about Mr. Gomez, never travel. He's sitting now. Dr. Tutu, let me refresh your mind a little bit. Do you remember the Grand Day attack when communists were trying the Southeast? Do you remember that trip? But if you don't remember, there's no problem because there's so much going on.
I was CPP there.
Mr. Tutu, don't find that excuse. It's just CPP today. That's not an excuse. You made a statement and you did not distinguish to say, oh, at the time you're CPP. So, Mr. Tutu, don't go around like Dr. Tutu. Don't go that route. I think you misspoke. Dr. Tutu, you misspoke. No, I just gave you one reference.
The people fighting now. I was
look at Dr. nephew. So Dr. Toto. Dr. Toto, hold on. After the election,
you had Yaka Koruba.
Hold on, sir. Sir, I give you a chance.
You had Dilo there over there.
No. Dr. Toto again. Yes, sir. Dilo was not in Grand Gideon.
I just gave you the scenario.
No. Dr. Toto just gave me a chance that you will talk. So after the election,
I you say the man made sport.
Coming was the only president expiring. that toured the entire country. When Tiawa Gongo was not even thinking about election. Then he made a second tour. He was now with Joseph Boakai. He was now with Yomli Kanga. He was now with Ben Layue. He took
Okay,
that tour.
all right,
So let me
Mr.
just put
George,
that
Mr.
into
George,
perspective.
it's delayed. I'm delayed in hearing you guys, but I can still hear you from the podcast. So let me go up, Mr. Dr. Toto, if you can hear me. I'm sorry because me dashboard is not helping me out here. But let's just play by ear. Doc, go ahead. Make your contribution on this.
The point I wanted to raise, where citizens started when come to the research that out there when come to the census. I was went on there, I saw a lot of good information about the census. The problem about those guys in Liberia, the Samson to where other guys that those guys when it comes to managing knowledge in our country, when intellectual property, they are very afraid. That's the point. They don't want to reach out to get qualified people to work along with them. And if you feel that you are so sophisticated with such a knowledge, they will kick you aside. And that's what I felt in the country. Some of them know very well what they are doing. We have a planning and economic affairs ministry that merged with the Ministry of Finance, and that was a lot of information, data that was supposed to be transferred to that ministry, to the Ministry of Planning, Economic Finance, Economic Development, present we have today. But I guess they neglected all the hard data that we have. They didn't take it along with them. We have the problem today. And people that participated in that process, somebody has stayed around. Instead of reaching out to them, no, they don't want to do it. And that's just only in the University of Liberia. We have to qualify people that are statisticians that we can reach out to the diaspora. People that have that knowledge, that specialized in that thing, that can conduct census, even with the help of the United Nations. They can reach out to them. They say, look, they're conducting the process, but they delay the process. They say no money and the funds are available. They don't want to do that. That's what I saw from that country today, where when they see you are sophisticated, have that intellectual property and knowledge management, they don't want to deal with you at all. We have it. Even our federal universities, I believe, I'm not too okra with our university in Highland. I believe it has a research department in the university there. They have some research area there. Reach out to them to conduct some research there. But we don't want to do it. Everything want to politics. They want to create a conspiracy theory that the people going after them, and which is false. They want to make the Liberian people that know Yana boys there, no Pepe boys there. They just you are saying that they come, they will take your country from you, all kinds of things.
Okay, all right, Dad. Thank you. So let me come to you. And I can still hear it, but not much. But let me come to you here. What do you think is the main hold up right now? If this thing fail, where will you put your finger in terms of? I'm not saying that you should assign blame, but where will you put your finger to be the main thing that will cause this thing to fail?
It will be the lack of expertise, and like the doctor said, the fear of asking for help, and the education of our people. Look, most things that have been done in Liberia that we have educated our population on have been successful. From basic things like kick out cholera. Remember when we did have cholera outbreak in Liberia? Or even have the typhoid fever outbreak. And I remember the late Peter Bala, peace be to his ashes, who they were Talking Drum Studio came out of stuff like that. They will go to these people and they will come up with with scenarios, with gigs and stuff that would be played on the radio and on TV, talking to people about the process and of getting rid of cholera. How do you avoid cholera? How do you avoid typhoid fever? Even when we used to do vaccination, I remember when I was a child, we used to do vaccinations in schools, right? For measles and polio and all of those things. And the people will go on the air and they will talk to you about the importance of vaccinating yourself and your children and what it meant. I remember when we used to go Lofa and people, up in Europe, people were the farms because they're all along the river. Some people would go down the river and use that for toilet.
Okay.
Forgetting that other people downriver are using that water to drink. And there was a vast campaign to educate our people on that, and people stopped that. And so I'm saying all of these things to say that I've not heard from one person in Liberia that say that there is a promo, there is anything on any of the radio stations or any of the internet TV stations that is talking about the importance of the census and why we need to have people counted and when we're going to do that. You have to educate the people. If you're not doing that, for me, that's going to be the number one problem right here. And coupled with the negative publicity that they're getting from these people that they hired and they have not been able to pay them. And so if we actually, I'm not afraid to apportion blame. I see the first branch of government is doing something right now, but they waited too long. They should have been having the oversight responsibility of Minister Tue, besides just the money part, but about the readiness of ledges. And they should have called ledges people in a long time ago. And so I do think that when this is going to be a constitutional crisis, if this thing is not carried out, and especially so it's going to be a national embarrassment if other people already give you the money. Like Pa George is saying that Mr. Tue said they got the money. If the UN and other people already give you the money to do this work, and it's just laziness that's keeping him from doing the work, I think that blame lays squarely at the feet of the minister and ledges, and they not stay late. They got all these comedians in Liberia that are, they do this promo for Lone Star, the MTN network, all this stuff. You can still use these people, pay these people, have an education program for our people so they understand the importance. This thing has to be depoliticized. Counting people should not be a political exercise where everybody should come together, everybody should come around the table, coalesce around educating our people on why they need to be counted. And let's go out and do the education.
Okay. Mr. Josh,
Yeah.
what is the solution here? How do we pass this here? Can we have this census flap and still have a beautiful election? Or these two things are not quite they're separable?
No, the census will be conducted. But the first word is trust. How to build trust to our people, in our people. And as Cecil mentioned, it only comes by people taking responsibility and saying what is right to the people. Look, there are so many things can be done in Liberia to have the sense of that the people will be very engaged, will be eager to do it. Because it's not just counting people. It got benefit in every community in Liberia will benefit somehow from the census. So it's not that to say, oh, people want to play game. No, there's something real that the country stands to benefit from. So it's not late. There have been a whole lot of missteps. But if the government is willing to correct it, they can make the necessary correction. Like Sister said, you got radio station, you got TV stations, you got other people who are engaged in different forms of entertainment. You can engage people, pay them. Let them go on the radio, TV, communities, do this short drama and tell the people what is the importance of the census. The children, your children will get a hospital in the area. There will maybe if there's vaccine, the vaccine will be destined for this area of children. So there's a whole lot to benefit from this census. So the government has a responsibility to educate the people. But there was not much publicity done in the past and up to now. Very poor. People don't even know about the census. In my opinion, it used to happen in those days. People going to repeat a ballot then, all these different groups, TJ, Yulu then. These people were paid by government to carry this message around to the various communities. Because remember, there are certain people in certain communities, people hear the news, they say, oh, that thing not true. One that man say, now must say that true. So we got to go. So, but the government failed to do this thing. Is it late? No. They can come back and do it. Right. But the most important thing is the publicity and trust That's why then the government got to work on.
Okay. Doc, let me ask you this. It's the whole census stuff here. Doc, I hope you can hear me. This whole census stuff here. Besides you guys fighting so hard, so Bon Country can get more people, and perhaps they create another district where you can be heading the district as a representative or a senator. I'm not too sure where you're going with this here, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll support you. It looks like you're getting ready. You're fighting now for census to happen, so Bon Country can get more people and Total Town become a district. And even if it's not a district, a little piece of Total Town become a district where you can be a representative. But on a very serious note, I want to thank you guys for seriously. But let me ask you this: that besides the census situation, I know when you came in, we have already asked that. What are some of the things that perhaps when you get among your peers, Liberians, well, not many Liberians are your peers, your PhD. We're not your peers anymore. So no, but I'm very serious. No, when you get among Liberians, that and some of the discussion. What are some of the discussion that get you concerned? And you say, "Wow, my country, are weak." What are some of those things?
On LIBERIA, if you are more Liberian, that's a non-Liberian as a whole. Whenever you meet somebody out there, would it because of George Weah popularity? As soon as you say for Liberia, say, oh, George Weah. That football popularity, that's the one that have bewildered the eyes of people, when they talk about Liberia. Even when it comes to our Liberian community, especially the diaspora in our Liberian community, most of the young people that we find our community today were people that live in refugee camps. No, I'm not trying to play them low or whatsoever, but some of them came through from refugee camp, they came to the US, and also they wouldn't need the new order with George Weah. So some of the diaspora, they stay hold on to George Weah to be the better person for Liberia. These are some of the discussion we will hear from there, and to convince some of them, it's very hard. So for me, I don't waste my time on it. I don't really waste my time when it comes to discussing Liberia whatsoever, because there are some people they see rare, they will say that rare. You see that black, they will say that black. So when it comes to discussing Liberia, I don't waste my time on it. People that can understand me intellectually, we discuss issue, we disagree, we have disagreement. Everything by the end of the day, we know the fundamental issue that affects Liberia. We all discuss it, we agree with it. That's why when it comes to the Bureau politics, we have our political institution like Bureau. Everybody have their political party belong to, but at the end of the day, we want to discuss one political issue when it comes to Liberia. The opposition. And we know that the government in Liberia, the government is bad. There's no way we can sugarcoat it. The government, we cannot allow the government for a second term. But how do we take the message to the people in Liberia? That's another challenge that we have also as opposition, because we don't want to work together as opposition. Everybody want to play the smart game. And the smart game is not working. It's not working at all. It's only one or two persons for me I see that really working to do that, to influence the mind of the people. And I said, the only person I see out there that really working hard to influence the mind of people that are out there. With the other opposition, I'm not really seeing it. Their message is not going the way it's supposed to go for what I've seen. And there are a lot of confusion going out there. At this age right now, to the campaign process like Brother, who have a strong opposition to compete against the government like Brother, but we don't have strong competition like going on. They were just coming up. But with those that are the Boyaka, they come in, the Yombe Kaga, none of them around today. They could be a strong competitor to George Weah. That's the bigger regret I see so far. If we don't really power out together, no boss will take that thing for about 6 years again, we'll sit there, cry, and that will happen all of it. That's the power of grace.
I think you're talking to yourself, Mr. Toll, you're muted.
Yeah. Unmute yourself.
Probably also trying to hack this.
You're still muted. You're still muted.
No, we can't hear you. Okay, he said more continue. Look,
Okay.
Okay.
let me
So
let me say this. Problem today in Liberia. Today, one of my nephew called me, and I was talking to him, and this young man telling me how the country is so hard. So we joke. I said, my man, this is why you're voted for. So at least you both enjoying it. And he would tell me, say, Amos, this is no joke. This country is hard. He said, someone can afford. But we see some of our friends, what this country they're going through is not easy. Then he told me, he said, Amos, but this one will not have arrested again. I said, my man, the government can hold on arrested. He said, look, they used to pay, I think, $13.50 for the bag of rice, the 25 kg. He said, now we're paying $15. He said, now we're paying $15. So he said, this one is not yet soft. So you can see the people when you're talking to them on the ground, what they're telling you, that the country is not going the way they think. The country, always say the country is going the wrong direction. And maybe, I don't know, but every other person, honest person, they will tell you, look, my man, this country is not easy here. So the question now is, what the opposition, we that support opposition, what are they going to do now to change the suffering of the people? Because there's a dire need for change in the country. And about time, I think he told me, so, oh, I'm not even sure why the vice president is in the country. The guy told me today, I'm not sure he said, the vice president, she's not here. And look at the country. The person going for 6 weeks. The vice president allegedly out of the country. Then what? I mean, what kind of country we have? How people taking this country to be?
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we do.
All right. So, sister, I'm having some serious issue here with my sister here tonight. So let's just try and wrap it up, guys. It's Friday evening anyway. But I really appreciate you guys taking time on this Friday again to join us. So, sister, what will be your closing here?
So my closing here is going to be twofold. Mr. George struck on something that I want to expand on. Is the idea of the day-to-day economy and how it's affecting our people. My mom, that everybody know, my stepmom who raised me, worked for the National Bank of Liberia at the time, from 1979. And she was retired during the Allen government, I think, in 2007. So when she was retired, she was given the equivalent of $1,200 for those many years of service. She has diabetes and she has hypertension. Her medication is $20 a week, US dollars. So imagine if she didn't have me in this country. And now the cost of bag of rice has gone up from $13.50 to whatever you can find it, whenever you can find it. Mm-hmm. And of course, as those prices go up, the price of our medication is also going up. Meanwhile, this is somebody that was given less than $1,500 in 2007 for over 30 years plus years of service to the Republic of Liberia. And so you imagine this, they take their story and multiply it and juxtapose it to people in the hinterland. I worked for, say, at the time when we used to have public works up interior, that work for public work, which is government employed. And they got retired and they're waiting for their social. My mom doesn't even get social security benefit. She's not gotten it ever. Right. And so, but then the cost of rice is going up and these people are supposed to be on fixed income that don't even come. Right. So I'm waiting for when the opposition would stop doing these patching, hold way of communicating. We can always just focus on ledgers. Ledgers is important, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Where are we hitting the message home to our people and telling them how this thing is affecting, that we recognize how it's affecting them? That now you have to determine between paying your child's tuition or buying the rice to eat. that you have to pay. You have to determine whether you buy rice to eat, or you will take your child to the hospital. You see signs of them being sick, but you're like, you know what? You can stay sleep today because we need to eat today. That's what I'm looking for. When would opposition political party leaders really start to hammer these issues, start to talk about the education system in Liberia and how it's failing? Because if we keep talking about the native people children, how they never had access to equity, to be able to have access to the national pie. Well, what gives you access to national pie most times is education, and it has to be quality education. But we're not having that under this government that is led by the native men. And so we need to have those conversations, but I'm still waiting for when an opposition political party will really hammer this issue consistently and not just do pick and stop, pick and stop, pick and stop.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Cesar. Appreciate it. Let's go with Doc, and then Mr. Josh going to close it for us. Doc, what will be your closing on this?
Yeah, Libra, very good discussion today. I was saying, I hope, Alfonso, so not trying to hug your sister there today, to make it like you're understanding us. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay, you're kidding, but we will continue to say this every day when it comes to the role that we need to play Liberia, especially when it change. The opposition have a ready and strong to take the message out of the people, and which we are not seeing it as compared to all the various key players that in the race, the Boyka, the commies, and other people that will be full T1 Congo just coming into the race. But before he came into the race, message were not really taken out of the people. That's why you see the opposition lost back-to-back elections, in the senatorial by-election they had, and some representative by-election they had, they lost, they win some. But they lost some of the most, or barely won, because the message was not taken back to the people. They continue to do the infighting that going on between them. It's not helping them. If at all we cannot, the opposition can really stay strong and take the message to the people, it will be unfortunate that we'll see another president we had to come out 2024 or 2023. They will begin to fight among ourselves that they cheated. No, and some will be on the network to say that you got to not do your work, and this is what happened.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. Mr. George, can you close it very briefly? Can you close it for us then?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Cesar and Dr. Toto. But we all speaking the same language. But the difference, I think we that in the diaspora got more forceful message than the people, the opposition in Liberia. Because we tackle this issue every day. The bread and butter issue that are affecting the Liberian people. And the opposition, you don't see once in a while, like cherry picking. At this time, I will talk to one, and that's it. No. In order for these people to get the message, is constantly talking to the people. Constantly. Just like you see people do political ads. That ad is not for nothing. Those constant ads are there to remind people. That's what people pay. They spend a lot of money on those things. To continue, play those ads, negative ads you see in this country, is to remind the supporters that this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. So we want to see the same thing opposition doing in Liberia, because you have to continue to remind the Liberian people, this is the suffering you're going to do, this is what the government do, and this is what we'll do different to change it. And now I speak one day, then I made us speak 3 weeks ago. No, it's a constant thing. You got to continue to remind the voter of the suffering and the alternative, the way out. This is what we need. And let me just close on this. That rumor that coming up, I'm very happy that VP Burger go take Prince Moyo as his vice president. I'm very happy. Let him go and take him as his vice president. And you will see fire. You will see the fire kill. You will see it.
They might be let trouble. I swear to God.
All right. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Mr. George. I want to thank you, Cesar. Thank you, Dr. Toto. Thank you guys very much for making this Friday evening again. Not that you guys don't have anything to do, but to come out here every night. We have these discussions, and hopefully people who want to join us or listening to us are having some serious benefit out of these conversations. And I know all of you, including Jonathan, who is not here tonight, your conversation here has always been educative and very, very much impressive, I would say. In as much as I come out here and try to play buffoon from time to time, but I think the reason why I play buffoon and nobody notices is the people around me. Because whenever I do one of my whatever stuff I do, Sissy will come in and elevate the conversation. Jonathan will come in, or even Mr. George or Mr. Toto, Dr. Toto will come in and elevate the conversation. And then thereby having people who were supposed to now call me all kinds of names, they will immediately latch on to serious and elevated conversation, and thereby sparing me the wrath of But I want to thank you guys. Very much. Thank you, and we'll see you guys by Monday. No, Sunday, Mr. So will be on, and then you guys can, yeah. So I'll say thank you guys, and I will say good night to all of you.
Joy Lima Papi alone to never his choice of VP now. Have a good night, German.
Yeah, okay. Good night, folks. All right. Night. Okay. Folks, thank you very much. It's been a very, very, very difficult time here within the last 10, 15, 20 minutes. My system here is down, so I depend on the conversation happening through this other monitor, which is about almost, I would say, 1 or 2 minute delay. So whenever the reason why I was able to pick up that, I can read lips. I'm not just an engineer. I read lips as well. So I know when these people, because from this side, it's not helping me tonight at all. So this is what is helping me. And I want to thank all of you that follow. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. But I'm going to try something at this time. If you want to leave, please do so, because I'm going to try to see what is happening with the system here in just 1 or 2 minutes. Let's see. Okay. All right. So now I know that my system is the output in my ear, not the output to the system or the Facebook or whatever. It's the output in my ear. So, okay. All right. Let me say thank you very much, and I'll say good night to all of you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Please stay safe out there. It's a Friday evening. Please stay safe. And we'll be back on Sunday. Of course, Mr. So will be here. Thank you very much. Good night, folks.